Testicles, 1, 2.
Oh shit, my bad.
That's a good one. Testicles, 1, 2. Testicles.
Yes, we back and we back at it like crack at it.
We are back. Welcome back to Paranormal Radio Podcast. This is your boy Trebles, Garcia, and joining me in the 1 to 2 is the best co-host on the motherfucking planet, Big Tank, even though he fell asleep. Salute, my boy.
I know. Tell me about that. 20 minutes before we were supposed to record. Memes.
Well, first of all, the freaking app that we use
crashing.
Was acting up, was crashing, and then we start promoting the episode, and then homeboy falls asleep. Big Tank was fucking.
I literally promoted it before I fell asleep. Damn, ain't that some shit,
dude? You still fucking sleepy? I'm gonna go to the liquor store and fucking mail you a Red Bull. Hopefully,
not
it gets
even.
to you soon.
I'll fucking take a shot of something I got right here in the house that'll wake me up all day.
For real, dude. Well, listeners, first of all, thank you so much for tuning back into Paranormal Radio Podcast. As you already know, I am Trebles Garcia, and Big Tank is our fucking co-host. And this is the show with the best content, with the best fucking, for the best fucking listeners. If anything.
For the best price.
If you
$3.99.
For the best price. Exactly. And then today we have a fucking awesome episode, dude. It's lined up. And this episode was pre-recorded. About a couple, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 days ago. And it was pre-recorded because of the time schedule of the special guests that we brought in for you guys. But since we do have to complete it and make it a special show, Big Tank, before we even jump into your segment, I want to plug in the fucking randomizing machine, and let's pick the fucking listener of the week.
Piece of shit, goddamn. Hey, if I'm playing with human resources, no man, it's a piece of junk, bro.
Bro, I am human resources, bro. That's the thing.
That's why shit never gets done.
Bro, plug it in and wear the rubber gloves I bought you, bro. Damn,
all right.
Here we go.
Alright. Hitting buttons. Activate teleportation. I mean, what? Shit, wrong machine. I mean...
Look at that baby purr. There she blows. Okay. We got one, bro. We got one. Finally. Well, this listener just followed us on Instagram. I want to give her a massive fucking shout out. Her name is... Oh, man. I lost her fucking name. Nara Lee Romero.
On
Instagram. Ooh. Yeah. Naren Jali. On Instagram. Thank you so much for following us and taking some time to listen to us. Spread the word. This episode was dedicated to you. Thank you so much.
Without a doubt. Mad love. Shout out.
For real. Now, Big Tank, let's fucking push it on forward to the best segment that everybody's fucking talking about. What is happening? Yeah.
Yes, you guys know the deal. This is what is happening. You guys know how it goes. I'm going to give you 2 stories. I want your 2 cents. Let me know if you're feeling it, if you're not feeling it, if you guys think it's true, if it's not true. But here we go. All right, first of all, metal monolith found in the middle of buttfuck Egypt. Actually, it's Utah, but it's in the middle of the desert. What do you think?
This is everywhere. Everybody's talking about this shit, dude. What the fuck is it?
Bro, it's like a straight up fucking prism pyramid, straight up the fucking ground, straight up.
So what do you think about it? Like, what do you know about it? What's the story behind it right now?
Okay. As of right now, well, when it was first discovered, it was discovered by 3 Utah, what is it, like environmental workers?
Rangers?
Yeah, something like that. They were part of the Utah agency, whatever it was, whether they were public works or whatever they were. And you actually seen a couple videos where they just get there and they hint at it being alien stuff. Whether it's true or not, it's a completely different story. But that's what I heard.
That it was because of the recent Utah alien sightings, and I guess I don't know. That's what I heard. That's what I was reading on some articles. But I'm not. I mean, you're the one.
I mean, regardless if it is or it isn't, it's just something fucking strange that somebody would put out there. To be honest, I mean, it's a weird shape. It looks like if it's solid, but then if it's solid, that should be too heavy. I mean,
does it have any like hieroglyphs or anything?
No, it doesn't have anything.
That's a fucking trip.
And see, they're following the whole CDC protocol that they're not supposed to touch anything until they get the clearance. You get me?
Wait. So, what do you mean? Like, nobody can go investigate? Like, it's not open to the public. It's already closed off.
It's not that it's closed off. It's just they're following CDC guidelines. They're, you know how it is. Social media, mainstream, news. It's saying it's probably some type of hoax, some type of art. How do you call it? Phenomenon going on that they're gonna use
Mm-hmm.
it, so on and so forth. Me personally,
Yeah.
I could see a little art thing going on, but
I think so too, dude. I think if somebody left it there like an art, kind of like you know those fucking the Georgia Guidestones. Have you
yeah,
heard about that?
yeah,
Like they put them up and they put them as art, I guess. But it was like the guide. That's what they're called, the Georgia Guidestones. Hashtag look it up. They have basically the instructions of how to survive after the massive apocalypse or an apocalyptic event, and for humans to keep on thriving on Earth. And it has it in many different languages. So it's kind of like, it's fucking weird, you know. It's maybe one of those mystery object fucking Stonehenge situation
yeah,
type of
exactly,
sculptures.
fucking
Yeah,
exactly. Will we ever find out the truth? I think if it is a piece of art, I think we will find out sooner or later.
this
Maybe
is more
maybe they just want to get
confusing.
the clout. You
Yeah,
get me?
maybe it's just a cloud. Maybe it's gonna come out late. Man, this is more confusing than the fucking Joe Biden and Donald Trump election.
Yeah,
Fucking bullshit
seriously,
that's happening
straight
right
up,
now.
straight up, straight up, straight up, all fucking day.
What you got next, my boy?
All right. Second of all, couple finds 66 bottles of whiskey. Okay, that's not no,
Whoa.
that's nothing that strange.
Mm-hmm,
Here's
mm-hmm.
the twist. It's from the 1915s during the bootleg era in their apartment
What?
in New York. Yes.
During the prohibition?
Yes, yes, yes,
Get
yes.
the fuck out of here.
Swear they found them inside their walls.
Somebody called fucking Capone.
Right?
Tell him I got his shit.
Right.
For real, dude.
Look, they were doing a recent renovation in the area, and the funny part is that they were knocking down a wall when they seen some type of liquid spillage. So
Whoa.
they started taking.
So they hit
Yeah,
something.
exactly. It's like they were getting a jackhammer, a fucking pow, I mean, straight to the wall, and then you start seeing leakage. What do you think it is? Obviously, whiskey is a
A
dark.
broken pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
If like something, yo.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So you could only imagine what was going through their head. But soon after they started taking it slow, they started smelling, how do you call it, alcohol content. They started pulling everything out. They find 66
Oh
bottles.
man. Mine gold.
Yes.
Because I mean, not only the taste of that well-aged wine, but the fucking content itself, you know, the label, what it represents, the time. Fuck, that's legendary, bro.
As soon as
Legendary.
they can match it up to what a previous bootlegger, you know that she's gonna be worth millions.
Millions. Maybe, yeah.
If the government doesn't get its hands on it, saying that we need it for possession, then they keep
Or they fucking drink it all up.
I don't think they did. I mean, obviously they brought it to social media. They brought it to the news.
That is fucking crazy, my boy. Dude, thank you so much for bringing in this fucking those amazing two stories. As you're always fucking doing an amazing fucking job. Big Tank.
I appreciate it, big dog. Salute.
Salute, bro. Now check this out, dude. This fucking episode, we're gonna give a proper introduction to these guys, and these guys have been fucking showing us so much fucking love. These are the hosts of the Real Conspiracy Hippie podcast. You need to fucking check these guys out because they have fucking been shouting us out, and they have the best topics, and they have great fucking information. And once again, if you guys enjoy Paranoid fucking Radio, you're going to enjoy the Real Conspiracy Hippie podcast. Hit them up, add them on Instagram. They're the_real_conspiracy_hippie podcast, I believe. But they'll make sure to fucking plug in their information on this episode. Please enjoy the next couple of minutes with them. They're gonna blow your fucking mind
all fucking day.
All right, so today we have a truly amazing show because today we have the honor of bringing onto the show some of the realest conspiracy theorists in the fucking game.
Bro, I'm already here though.
Please give a warm.
What are you talking about? I'm already here though.
Dude, don't interrupt me, bro. But for real though, dude, some of the realest conspiracy theories in the fucking game, I had to read that all over again because somebody fucking rudely interrupted me. Please give a warm fucking welcome to the Conspiracy Hippie and Zach from the Real Conspiracy Hippie podcast.
Yeah, buddy, welcome.
Hey,
What's up, guys?
Yeah, what's going on? Thanks for having us.
It's an honor to be on with you guys as well. Some of the few people getting to the real nitty-gritty of topics.
For real, dude. You know what? It's before anything. Also, I want to give you guys some gratitude. Thank you so much for spending some time and giving us these 30 minutes to blow some fucking minds. And I'm fucking ecstatic. I'm ecstatic and really excited for the listeners, if anything, because today we have a real treat. You get me?
Yeah, dude. I appreciate you guys bringing us on, helping us get our platform out there. Too many people do conspiracy theories, and they don't cover it in a funny way. They just sound like a bunch of lunatics.
It's sad.
And that pushes a lot of people not to listen to their pod or get discouraged, or they believe that maybe it's not real. They try to live in the matrix forever. So, so you got to have some comic relief and keep it short and simple, straight to the point. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah. Want to just dive into this or?
For real. So what we're going to do, I'm going to throw you right into the deep end of the pool, dude. And today we're going to be talking about HAARP. And I want to know, dude, what the fuck is HAARP? What does HAARP stand for? And
it's a
what
musical instrument. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, HAARP was designed in the Industrial Revolution. It was a musical instrument. Oh, hold on. I got the wrong notes here. Let me.
Wrong Wikipedia page.
You are on the wrong podcast channel right now, guys. Stay tuned. Wait a minute.
We're not talking about HAARP musical instruments. Guys, my notes are all wrong for this one. No, I'm kidding.
It's okay, man.
So HAARP is the High Intensity Auroral Research Program. Zach and I talked a little bit about it in one of our podcasts. We're doing a 2-part series on HAARP as well, so it's really fun to jump in with you guys and do this. There's going to be a lot to go over with HAARP. I'll give you guys kind of a quick breakdown on it, give everybody kind of a small introduction to what HAARP is, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty of it. It's a super interesting conspiracy theory. Not talking about as much anymore.
It is your show. You're the freaking special guest. The spotlight is on you. So if you're going to bring in something to the table, drop it heavy, man.
All right, let's drop it. Let's drop it heavy. I got Zach here with me. We'll talk a little bit about it. As I stated, HAARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Essentially what HAARP is it's a bunch of radio waves and a bunch of antennas in the middle of Fairbanks, Alaska. It's actually in a city called Gonka, Alaska.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's on the eastern.
They had to shut down for a bit, right?
It did. So it's the history behind it's strange. So it started work in 1993. They did not finish the facilities for use until 2007. And when they finished the facilities in 2007, it was budgeted and funded by the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Air Force. They actually took over the project and they started funding it to keep it up and going. So
I'm guessing basically this is where they found out that it could be used as a weapon, perhaps.
Right. And I mean, why would the Navy or Air Force have any involvement in a program that was originally designed to conduct radio waves and do research within the ionosphere? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? Like, why would the military give 2 shits about that? Other than getting 18-year-old kids signed up to get into Dodge Chargers, the only other thing they love more is war. So
yeah,
it seems strange. And no offense if you're an 18-year-old kid in the military at the Dodge Charger, I respect you. Have fun.
He's got a great APR of 28% and a $700 a month payment.
Zach knows all about it.
Okay, I see where that's coming from now. Okay, that's crazy, man. So what I'm understanding is so it was used for weather monitoring.
Correct. It was used to identify radio waves within the ionosphere. So the ionosphere is the uppermost part of our atmosphere before you start getting into space. And what it was designed was to manipulate and read radio waves through severe weather so they could still send communications to submarines. They could send communications out worldwide.
Keyword manipulate.
Correct. Yeah. That's what's fun. So in 2007, they get the project completed. Well, in 2014, HAARP shuts down. A lot of pushback from the public. A lot of people weren't comfortable with HAARP. And then in 2015, it was given to the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Essentially, after 2015, a lot of the conspiracies on HAARP kind of stopped. Actually, if you look at relevance on YouTube and you Google HAARP, I'm like the last person to do something on it. In the last 6 years, I'm pretty sure very few people are still talking about it. But it's crazy because
it went silent for a while.
Yeah, it did go silent. It's still pretty relevant. But that's kind of the basics on HAARP. So it's a small program in Fairbanks, or Gonka, Alaska, to be specific, that was used for research of ionosphere radio waves. But a lot of people believe it was used to control weather. It was used for mind control. And a lot of people thoroughly believe it was designed for mass war, a weapon of mass destruction.
That kind of brings me on to my next question. I kind of want to ask you this. I'm not sure if it fits all together like a puzzle, but are chemtrails a part of it, or is it part of the program, or a continuation of it?
It's so yes and no. Chemtrails are their own kind of thing, but a lot of people, when you start getting into conspiracies about weather manipulation and weather controlling, they're kind of one and the same. It's very similar to like. If you're going to talk about aliens and time travel, which a lot of people start linking stuff like that together, because you'll see like ancient aliens theories and stuff. So they're kind of one and the same. However, there's no plausible evidence of HAARP linking to chemtrails. But it does tie into the fact that if the government can control weather and they can control things like that, then essentially HAARP would be on the same kind of research program.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
I'm going to get into a little bit of Jesse Ventura's research on HAARP. I talk about Jesse Ventura a lot. He's gone soft now. He's like a anti-Trump guy now.
Jesse is the creator? Is he the designer, or?
So Jesse Ventura was a governor who was a pro wrestler, like conspiracy theorist. He was a nut job for a long time, but he was one of the few people to actually try to break into the HAARP facilities and actually get some very, very good research on it. A lot of people that tried to get information on HAARP were shut down, or they didn't have the credentials he had. Being a governor, he was part of the Navy SEALs. He was in the Buds operation. So he had some contact. Yeah, he was a high-ranking military official. So he was able to actually get some pretty terrifying research on it. This was back in 2010. He did a show called Conspiracy Theories on True TV, which blows my mind that we were able to have just regular TV programming about like hardcore conspiracy theories. He did a lot of stuff about the Bloombergs. He did stuff about like the mass coffins in Ohio. So he's pretty deep in the shits. So I'm going to get into a little bit of his research. Zach, you got anything to add about the basics of HAARP?
No, I think you did a really good job explaining it. You know, a lot of people think it was more along the lines of manipulating weather to become that weapon of mass destruction, you know, create tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes.
That's kind of like what I believed also. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I mean, I kind of got that. I mean, what we believe is sometimes in the entertainment industry, what they do in movies is they leave little breadcrumbs of the truth behind so that you could be in your subconscious, you start believing, or it normalizes in your brain.
Yeah.
And for example, the movie The Core, right? They had, I don't know if you guys seen it, but they have this called Project Destiny. And this is a giant beam that goes to the middle of the earth and it creates an earthquake in specific areas. And they use it as a mass weapon. So that's kind of what I thought HAARP was at first, before you guys brought all the main hardcore research.
Well, and that's what a lot of people, on the surface, they see that with HAARP, but HAARP gets so much deeper. And Jesse Ventura was one of the only people to actually dig into it. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of YouTube videos you can see, but he was one of the few people with his research team and development to actually kind of break it down. So Jerry Smith, he's an author. He wrote a book on HAARP and a lot of its potential functionalities of mass destruction. He actually called Jesse Ventura up and said, hey, man, listen, this is a conspiracy theory I think you need to dig into. This is something that just doesn't seem right. And Jesse Ventura had never heard of this. This was 2010 or 11. So HAARP had only been active for a few years. And Jesse Ventura gets into talking about how, I don't know if this is something I really care about. Why should I care? So Jerry Smith brings him out to Alaska. He's like, listen, let's go look at these facilities. Let's dig into this. So they fly out to Alaska. They fly over the Gonka station of where HAARP is located. And it's 360 antenna over like 500 acres. And it produces 3.6 million watts. Just to put that in perspective, the highest watt production outage of a radio station in America is 50,000 watts. I believe it's out of California. and it streams all the way to the East Coast with 50,000 watts.
Oh, shit.
That is fucking insane, dude.
Yes, it's insane. And what's crazy is it has to be out. This radio station has to be out in the outskirts because it can affect like airplanes and radio waves and stuff like that for pilots. That's how much power 50,000 watts is. So put that to 3.6 million watts, and we're talking about something that could devastate an entire country if need be, and certainly has in its own right.
That's freaking crazy. I'm theorizing here. Do you think that maybe has, I don't know, does this connect it with, I want to say maybe with like the magnetism or the North Pole? Does it have anything to do with like its location specifically?
So
like ley lines and other energy points on Earth?
I would love to believe it does. I think one of the biggest things is, why would they pick Fairbanks, Alaska? And why would they pick Gonka, Alaska? It's an extremely far out location. There's no near airports. I mean, to get to Fairbanks, you literally have to fly into Anchorage, and then you have to take a fucking puddle jumper over into Fairbanks. Then you have to drive into Gonka, which is about an hour and a half southeast, I believe, from Fairbanks. It just seems like a weird location. The military was like, well, we've always had that land. Why? Why did they have that land? It seems like they picked a very specific location. Now, and I'm sure in your guys' studies and research, you found that the North Pole tends to be this giant conspiracy theory platform of what is out there. I mean, is there bases out there?
Yeah.
Is there
a no-fly zone, hollow Earth, a bunch of different shit.
And they could hide anything they want out there. I mean, even National Geographic has done a lot of videos out there about penguins and crap, and they talk about how it's so desolate and it's so dangerous, you can't go off the grid. So like when they do like March of the Penguins and stuff, they have a very specific path. And if they fall off that path of travel, they'll die out in the North Pole.
I've actually read something like that.
That's fucking insane.
I've actually read something like that because they go off in saying that the North Pole, you're only allowed to basically uncover, I think it's like 15 to 17%. Because after that, it's like basically uninhabitable. You can't really do much. Your instruments start messing up. You start losing your technology. It's just crazy out there.
Right. And it's strange to me that they would turn this facility over to the University of Alaska. And after they spent all this money, it took them almost 20 years to get the program up and running. And after 7 short years, they just give it to the university. Well, it's not out of the realm of possibility, in my opinion, that this was a test model, and it was a minor test model.
So the Navy, then I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're good.
I'm trying to follow here. The freaking Air Force and the freaking Navy created it. They built it, and then they handed it down after they were done with it. I suppose they give it to the college, the university.
Correct.
Well, yeah, and also get this.
Okay.
How much did it cost?
It cost $5 million a month to run this program.
And how much did it cost to build?
Get the fuck out of here. And world hunger.
It was reported at like $2.5 billion, but they've also had studies done, and people have looked into the budget, and they believe that budget was blown by 3 times the amount.
And they just gave it away.
And they gave it. Yeah.
Okay.
They gave it to the University
of Alaska. Get the fuck out of here.
But back to the North Pole thing, I'll tie this in.
Yeah.
This could have very well been a small-scale model to see, can we control weather? Can we control manipulation of natural disasters? And if we can, let's get rid of this. Let's make it look not sketchy by giving it to a college, and let's build a 5 times larger model of the North Pole. Now, that's pure speculation. That's purely my opinion. But based off of what I have and the information I see, it doesn't seem far out of the realm of possibility. And I'll kind of get a little deeper into what we were talking about with the military and how that works. So this was actually designed and patented for missile defense. Because of the radio waves in the ionosphere, we have systems in place as a country to detect incoming missiles and incoming projectiles, and they can be shot down. Well, it would be even safer to have a giant radio wave wall around this country where if someone shot a missile towards us, we could just interrupt the frequency and drop that thing out of the sky. The only thing better than...
Without even having to shoot a bullet.
And how quick and efficient that would be. So it was actually designed by a gentleman named Bernard Eastland. He was a high up-ranking military defense officer, and he created tons and tons of programs for defense, and everything he did was for defense of this country. He helped a lot with submarine communications and things like that. So he was a very, very high up intelligence
fucking patriot.
Yeah, badass motherfucker. Love this country. But when he passed away, he had the plans for HAARP, but it was not done. It was not built. And in his original plans, it was patented and designed for missile defense. So it starts building, and the military takes it over. Well, that's where you'll get a little bit further into the why would the military want this? So Jesse Ventura actually went to the facilities. He flew in, like I talked about a little bit. He gets there, and they won't let him in. They're like, hey, you can't come in here, blah, blah. And he's like, well, hey, listen, I'm a high-ranking military official. I have clearance to get into these facilities. I'm a governor, and I'm coming here as a researcher, a journalist. Why can't you let me into the facilities? And they refused to let him into the facilities. They were very aggressive about it. And he was actually higher ranking than the guards that they had at the post, who should have respected him, at the very least, should have been cordial to him. You can find this video on YouTube. Yeah. They're extremely aggressive. They told him they need to get out of there. So at this point, Jesse says, well, hey, listen, you can't tell me that because I rank higher than you. So I'm just going to walk on in. As the crew attempts to walk into the HAARP facilities, one of their cameras explodes, and the rest of their cameras and all of their wiring, all of their sound production stuff malfunctions and fries out, ruined like $15,000 in camera and sound technology as they're breaking into the facilities.
It like kind of like an EMP.
Yeah, like it basically just sent an electro wave. And now, could it have been a coincidence? Maybe, but it seems super coincidental that
highly unlikely.
Yeah, that they're trying to infiltrate a facility with 3.6 million watts. I mean, you could literally turn on half of an antenna and fry out. I mean, they can't even fly planes within a 500-yard premises of it if one antenna's on.
Okay, I have a question.
Crazy. So that's where it starts getting dark. Yeah, fire map.
I've been doing a little side research, and now that you're bringing all this in, I sort of feel it ties in. Okay, have you guys heard of the Star Wars program through Ronald Reagan, which was a SDI, the Strategic Defense Initiative? I don't know if you guys have. I don't know if you guys have touched on it.
And I believe. Well, and that's the speech that Ronald Reagan gave about how war is changing and warfare is no longer going to be fought on foot, right? That was related to that program, essentially. Yes. Yeah. So I'm fairly familiar with some of that stuff. And Reagan was big into advancing warfare, and he made some very scary, valid points all those years ago.
Okay. So my theory is what if it's something heading towards that way? For example, I know we could probably still be another 20, 30 years before we have like a fully functional space station that could actually attack missiles through direct energy weapons and so forth. Because that was the whole premises of it. Basically, have a Death Star up there, so whenever we did have missiles, it could hop. Yeah, that's what it was. That's
fucking Star Wars.
That's what the program was called.
So I'm just giving those metaphors. But do you think it could be that type of thing, but down on Earth, since it's producing so much energy waves?
Well, it's even funnier you mentioned that, because they have done enough studies that they can actually, if they could boost HAARP just a little bit more to get closer to that 5 million watts range, they believe they could blast satellites out of the sky, like satellites in space,
kind of like solar flares, right?
But imagine if China has, because they have all these satellites overhead, and imagine if they were sending troops. I mean, very hypothetically, so say they want to take over the U.S. Well, these people are getting their radio waves, are getting these transmissions through a satellite. If we blew that satellite out of the sky, that would cause mass chaos for any field troops trying to get orders from that. That would literally shut down an entire program. It would be insanity.
On
correct.
Both ends.
So it's funny when you mention Star Wars, because I think the ultimate goal for HAARP was space, because the ionosphere seemed like a very easy starting place. But if we could hit that with 3.6 million watts, and we already have technology to transmit radio waves to space, we could combine that and do whatever we want. And, say we do have a Death Star up there. Well, how do we activate it? Through HAARP. You could blast a giant radio wave to the Death Star, trigger something, and then it could launch a gigantic blow. I mean, this is extremely
giant concentration of energy.
Extremely hypothetical, but based on some of the research you can do on HAARP, and a lot of people really believe that it had that level of potential.
Exactly. See, that's just the whole thing that's running through my mind right now, because I was just looking into this, and I'm like, you know what, this is interesting. I just started doing a little bit of research, and now that you're telling me all this, I'm like, could this be the shield to the sword that they're trying to build, or is this a sword to the shield that they're making?
You know, it reminds me kind of like that part of the movie, Insurgents, Independence Day, the second one, when they have that base on the moon and they shoot that giant beam onto the aliens as a defense, kind of, and then they have that shield around the Earth, that laser shield around the Earth, kind of like that's how I see it. Like if you have enough HAARPs around the Earth, connected somehow, you'll be able to not only push out satellites but bigger, like comets and asteroids.
Absolutely.
You get me?
It's so it may sound kind of crazy, but when you read enough into this, the possibilities are endless. And so that's when Jesse Ventura, after they tried to break in, really was like, okay, there's something here. Because he originally was like, it's too out in the open. Like, why would they do that? It's too easy to cover this up. But I mean, when they tried to get into the facilities and their cameras got fried, he was like, oh my God, there is more here than this should be. So he started doing some on-the-ground research in Alaska. He found some scientists, Dr. Nick Baggage. He believes that HAARP was actually used in the Iraq War. So there was, I forget what the battle was, but essentially there was like thousands of Iraqi troops that surrendered to U.S. without even a fight. And when we captured most of them, they were like extremely ill. A lot of them had a lot of issues with their bowels. A lot of them were suicidal. Some of them had just like basically were ready to off themselves. And it's very strange.
Frequency weaponry, bro.
Well, and that's when Jesse's like, hey, how would this be? How could you do that with HAARP? It's about weather manipulation. Well, one thing is, I think, very easy to forget is that our brains are run on radio waves. They're almost the exact same kind of waves that you would have to run a radio station or that you'd have to run like a CB radio. They're just a little bit different, but we're all basically electromagnetic species. So HAARP can be dropped to either increase or decrease brain waves and create feelings of nostalgia or create feelings of mass depression. They've done this with studies. And with, I think, about 40,000 watts hooked up to a small generator, you could change the mood of 3 or 4 people drastically. And Zach and I talked a little bit in our last podcast. Horror movies do this as well. You hear a lot of those dull brown noises in the background of horror movies, especially when they want to scare people. And it causes a feeling of panic.
They build up the momentum.
If you just put that on,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like that noise on a headphone and sit in a dark room, you would feel panicked. But then if you sat in a dark room with like an upbeat noise or like a certain scent or something, like at Disneyland puts vanilla in the air, you would feel positive, right? So it's very easy to manipulate our brain waves through scent and smell and through sound.
I've said this many times before in our previous episodes. Everything is fucking based down to frequency, dude. And if you know how to manipulate frequency, you're going to be able to control the masses or destroy certain populated areas. To be honest, dude, I think it goes deeper into the rabbit hole. I'm looking at the time, so we're running out of time. And I'm enjoying it so much that I just want you to keep fucking telling me all of you learned and shit. But we got to respect the 30 minutes we promised you guys. Unfortunately.
That's most of what I did have.
I do have I have one question that kind of brings me into back into like dark conspiracy, not too much real. What are the consequences? Do they use it to create rain in different areas and then it manifests itself to like giant hurricanes, blizzards?
It very well could actually. What we got for time? A few minutes here, like 2-3 minutes top. Zach, why don't you hit him with Myrtle Beach real quick? So and kind of explain that. We'll leave you guys with the small weather manipulation proof that we do have, and we'll let your imaginations run with it after that.
Right.
Keyword proof.
So back in 2011, sort of when HAARP was all going, actually happening, Myrtle Beach in January of that year, people reported that there were these 3 weird-looking clouds. Now, when I mean weird-looking, it's hard to explain, but if you're old enough to know what like Beyblades are, they look like just like the start of a tornado or like a Beyblade is in the air. And these clouds didn't move. They stood there for days. And the sort of the feel in Myrtle Beach was just sort of dreary and just like depression. Like people were just gray, and just people kept coming out about everyone just felt off. And other specific clouds left the area, came back, but these clouds just stayed there stationary for days. And sort of people were like on the conspiracy theory about, I think HAARP is the one that's doing this. They're sort of like engineering these clouds to see if if people can be affected, if the weather or the atmosphere can be manipulated by HAARP. And I mean, why would these specific clouds just stay there for days on end and not move? Like, that's just not how clouds work. That's not how the world works. Everything moves. The wind moves. Clouds move. If you get a chance, look it up. Just literally just type into Google Myrtle Beach clouds, and they'll be there. You'll see them.
Wow. Yep. Hashtag look it up, people. For real. You guys came, you guys conquered and destroyed it and then built it back up again. It was fucking insane. And I just wish we had a little bit more time, dude. Right before we freaking end this segment, I want to make sure that you guys get the time to tell everybody where they can find you individually or where they can find your podcast, the name. Hit them up. Let them know
absolutely. Hey, I want to say it's been a pleasure being on with you guys. Super fun stuff. I appreciate you giving me 30 minutes to spew a bunch of random nonsense. But you can, if you guys liked what you heard, my name is Tanner. I do a podcast called The Real Conspiracy Hippie. I do a YouTube channel. We do some sketches. We do some videos about current political stuff going on from a non-biased standpoint. You can find me on Instagram at The Real Conspiracy Hippie. You can follow me on Twitter at TRC Hippie. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Google Podcasts, Anchor FM. So you can listen to that. And if you guys like what you heard about HAARP, Zach and I did one last week, kind of explaining HAARP in further detail. We've got a 2-part series. We'll have it. The new episode will be out Wednesday. And we're going to cover some more about HAARP. We're going to get into like the Joplin tornado. We're going to get into the HAARP radio waves. We're going to get into HAARP rings and stuff like that as well. So we may even do a 3-part series to crack this thing really open. But yeah, again, you guys can definitely. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's been awesome, and it's too much information to do for one podcast or even 2. But yeah, if you guys like what you heard, you can always follow me at The Real Conspiracy Hippie. Zach, go ahead and plug your stuff.
And then for me, I do a little bit of Twitch streaming. I'm more of like a sports and a gaming guy. You can follow me on Twitch, named Floor Skins. It's more of like a play on word of the word foreskins, but with floor. So yeah, go follow me on Twitch. It's with 2 S's, FLOOR, SKINSS. We can talk conspiracy theory, sports, games, anything you want. I'm down to do anything like that.
That is freaking crazy. Their Instagram page is also blowing up with they do posts and they do story posts every single fucking day. I'm one of their biggest fans. I'm always looking at their stuff. So go ahead and check them out at Instagram, guys. And make sure, if you guys like Paranoid Radio, you're going to fucking love the Real Conspiracy Hippie podcast. Make sure you hit them up. And thank you guys so much for giving us this time and enlightening us and dropping a little bit. You guys, what you did right here right now is you guys dropped a little seed. And watch that shit.
Got a plan.
Hey man, I can give you the basics, but it's all about what you're willing to look up on your own, and that's all we're here to do. Open that third eye a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Take it easy.
Whoa. Dude, these fucking dudes came, dog, and they fucking slaughtered it, bro.
They murdered that shit. No cap.
Dude, it was a fucking complete disaster. Like, you know what? I had a very strong feeling that HAARP itself was one of the biggest conspiracies of our lifetime and modern fucking human history, if anything. At this point right now, they fucking pushed me to not only make a second episode about HAARP, but also fucking do a lot of more deep research so we know what the fuck we're dealing with.
Yes, they only touched a bit, bro. They only touched a bit. Look, they have more content on HAARP. If you guys don't want to wait for us, go look up at their shit at The Real Conspiracy Hippie all day.
Yeah, dude. They already have part 1, which covers a whole different area of the conspiracy. What they brought into our show today was heavy fucking hitting facts about history of people that were there and location. But you gotta listen to the first episode. Hit them up again. Listen very fucking carefully. The Real Conspiracy Hippie podcast. Hit them up. Check out the first HAARP episode and then fucking the rest of their content. They have really good content. Massive shout outs to you guys. Thank you guys so fucking much for coming back out here and for giving us all the shout outs and all the appreciation and a fucking honor. It was an honor, complete honor having you guys here.
It is.
Now, Big Tank, do me a huge fucking favor and plug in your shit. Tell people where they can find you.
All right, you guys know the deal. Catch me on all social medias at eknat.ivix. Once again, eknat.ivix.
And you can find me at TREBLES Trebles Garcia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on Snapchat. Make sure to hit us up on paranoidradio.com. You already know what the fuck is going on. We have a live blog. Not a lot of people are hitting us up through there, but still, hit it all up. And make sure to leave fucking 5 stars and a fucking comment, a good fucking positive review on Apple Podcasts if you're listen to us there. And that helps the show blow up a little bit more, and it helps other people like you fucking enjoy it, because I know you're fucking enjoying it. Massive shout outs again to all our listeners. We found out that today we touched down in the country of Puerto Rico. I'm ecstatic, fucking excited all over again, because that's another part of the world that our voices are being heard and the truth is being spoken, and other people are actually fucking falling to fucking a woke environment. And that's our mission here at fucking Paranoid Radio Podcast.
It is. I just want to say massive love, massive shout out once again. The only reason we're doing this is because you guys like it. I mean, you guys keep us going. There's absolutely nothing but love between us. You guys know the deal. paranoidradio@gmail.com if you want to reach us directly. But we do have our website, which is paranoidradio.com. And if you guys still don't like that, catch us on Instagram at Paranoid Radio all day.
Oh, also one more thing. New Facebook page. Again, new Facebook page is fucking dropping heat. Any content that you cannot find on Instagram, you'll always be able to find it on fucking Facebook. It's live now. We're everywhere. The only thing that we haven't touched down on is fucking Twitter. That's coming up next. So, big applause to our fucking engineering website team and shit.
Without a doubt. Massive love and shout out. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nothing but love.
To all the listeners around the world, nothing but love for real. Big Tank. Have a good night, bro.
Salute.
Boom. Blow your fucking mind.